Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Fred Willard.
Thank you very much. I'm so honored, Harry. Thank you for calling on me for this. And I am not a happy holidays guy. I am definitely a Merry Christmas guy. I'm just a step away from sitting by the fireplace and hoping for Santa Claus to come down the chimney. And occasionally this time of year, my friends will say to me, Mr. Willard. Well, they call me Mr. Willard because many of them are still feeling a bit uncomfortable around me. They'll say, what is the true story of Christmas? And I say, come on, we all know it. We've all heard it 1,000 times. But I think this is the time and place. And CJ, you're on cue. And bear with me for the 1,001st telling of this evergreen. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And Caesar's wife, the evil queen, spent her days shopping and looking in the mirror, saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? One day the mirror answered, it's your stepdaughter, the beautiful maid Marian. The queen decreed that a hunter should take Marian out into the woods and cut out her heart. But Marian escaped, and a handsome prince found her slipper and followed her. He found her in a manger in Bethlehem, doing the only work she could do, scrubbing floors and taking care of a baby boy child named Jesus. But whose baby was it? Nobody knew. I know you've all heard this, but... So the prince and Marian and Jesus went to live in the prince's castle and be happy ever after. But the wicked queen kept searching for them. And on December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, she captured Marian and Jesus and hid them in a cave. She left them one candle with enough oil to last for only 7 days. This, of course, was called the dreidel. Well, everything went crazy. It was a turbulent time. The birds were flying all over the place. The Japanese were fighting the Germans were fighting the Russians, and Marian's little friends Grumpy and Sneezy and Groucho went to Santa's kingdom in the North Pole to get him to help. They thought he was dead, but a kiss from Grumpy awoke him. And it came to pass that Santa called out some reindeer, and together Dasher and Dancer and Donner and Blitzen, Sneezy and Grumpy and Groucho and Vixen flew to Bethlehem to try to save him. But lo, they couldn't find the cave. Now, if you know the rest of the story, feel free to go along with it. And it came to pass that Groucho's brother Zeppo had become an agent and enlisted the aid of Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer to lead them. Now a star shone in the east, and the shepherds were sore and afraid. And Franklin Roosevelt, a great man, calmed them, saying, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. They found 3 wise men and bribed them with gold and francs, incense, and myrrh, which is a drink of milk and honey like mead. And the wise men pointed to where Jesus and Maid Marian were trapped. Well, together they huffed and they puffed and they rolled away the stone. And many people don't believe it, but this you have to believe. They rolled away the stone blocking the entrance and saved them. And the baby Jesus came out and saw his own shadow. I know you've heard this a million times. He proclaimed that there would be 6 more weeks of winter, and to this day, that's why the baseball season doesn't start until April. And the 7 dwarves chased the wicked queen back to her castle And then Cupid shot her with an arrow and she was filled with love and realized that being the second best looking woman in the world wasn't all that bad. At least she believed she was the second best looking. And after all, the mirror wasn't about to correct her. And Santa celebrated by going all over the world, giving out presents. And that's why we celebrate Christmas on December 25th. And as Santa flew overhead to the North Pole, he was heard to cry, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And everyone's heart from that day forward was filled with love. And that's why on the day after Christmas, department stores throw open their doors and offer great sales. The true story of Christmas. Thank you.